Okay, welcome back to Off Topic on Purpose. I'm your host, Laura Forte, and I'm getting in the habit of recording these solo pods. I'm just really loving what comes up as I just lean into my creativity, lean into sharing what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. This time I'm set up at my home studio, and last time I was set up, it was Christmas Day, and I was set up outside. So today I do have some notes on my laptop. I have charging ports, I have plugs, I have everything plugged in. So hopefully this will be going off without a hitch. But, anyways, thank you for joining. Today, I just wanted to chat. It's the beginning of January, and I always love the beginning of January because it brings on new beginnings, a fresh start, a new year. We are entering into the year of the fire horse, which is the Chinese New Year, which will be coming up at the end of the month, beginning of February. And for me, one of the words I chose for this year is alignment. And this year, I really wanted to lean into creating alignment over setting New Year's resolutions. And yeah, I don't need to rehash all of what happened last year and the last number of years. But what I'm really feeling in this 1 year for the planet, in this new fire horse year one energy, it's a new 9 year cycle that we're going into, is a lot of newness and alignment and just tearing back the veil and taking off the masks of what I've been putting on, and just no longer being involved in things that don't serve me. And that's easier said than done because we can't always choose what we're doing. Of course, there's challenges that come with every job and every role and every place we live and every relationship and everything like that. But the practice that I'm doing this year, that I'm putting into the ether and manifesting this year, is checking in with myself and seeing how things feel before making the decision to step into them or not. It's January 2nd today, and I really want to lean into 2026 with alignment and not New Year's resolutions. I often set a resolution, I often stick to the resolution, but I want to lean into this year with the feeling and the decisiveness of being aligned versus chasing goals. Tapping more into my feminine energy, that flow, and really listening to what my body wants, what my heart wants, what my soul is craving. And there's so much pressure at this time of year to decide and to hustle and to fix things and to create resolutions. But what I'm hearing from women is fatigue and burnout and not motivated by those things anymore. And I'm definitely in that camp too. So January asks us to choose things, choose direction, choose resolutions, but I'm feeling that alignment asks us to notice things first and lean into that. And then the choices come, they come easier. So I'm wanting to reframe that and reframe what alignment is. So to me, alignment is not passive, it's not lazy, it's not about vision boards, although I did just finish creating my vision board because I make one every single year. But interestingly, every year I make a vision board, and it's often things that I really want, but that feel so out of reach. And this year I created my vision board with things that I actually feel and believe are achievable. And interestingly, this is the first year I've ever created my vision board with pictures of myself on it. So, adding pictures of myself with my real friends, with my real partner, in real scenarios that I've actually done, pictures of me at the gym that I've been going to the gym a lot lately. And I don't know, I feel like it just anchors something deeper when it's me seeing pictures of myself. So yeah, it's not about vision boards or forcing that clarity. But even when I was creating it and putting all the images together, it didn't feel deflating or like, oh, well, yeah, these are things that I would like to have, but maybe someday. It felt like, oh, yeah, those things are just what's coming and what's happening and what is already, decided upon. I just have to kind of get out of the way to allow them and put the right pieces in place for those things to come. I had a really great call the other night with one of my friends, and we were chatting about entrepreneurship, shiny ball syndrome, chasing different things. And one thing that kept coming up for both of us, and we started talking about it as like a mantra. And the mantra is like, stick to the plan. And I love this because every time that this conversation was only a couple days ago. So, but every time that I've even felt pulled in a different way, or questioning why I'm researching something, or maybe grabbing my phone to scroll social media, that that thought and that voice comes in my head of stick to the plan. And it's exciting because it helps me realign and get out of the sort of mind chatter of, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Oh, this person's doing this. I feel like I'm behind. And I feel like I talk to a lot of people that have this, that they'll see someone else doing something and then they just get derailed, or they're like, oh, I need to be doing that thing over there because that chick or that guy or that business is doing that thing, and that's what it means to be successful and creative and all those things. So this mantra in my mind is stick to the plan, stick to the plan. So yeah, my word for the year is alignment, also hope. um, Leaning into hope and leaning into belief and faith that the things that I want actually want me back, and the things I'm going for are actually waiting for me to get them. And so really believing that and leaning into the faith and the hope of that. And another mantra that I've got is be brave. Um, I was thinking about this phrase or these words the other day, and a couple other words came up, like fearless and going for it anyway, feeling the fear and doing it anyways, achievability. But I just kept coming back to the be brave. And courage was a word that kept coming up too, but I was like, all those words are the result of something, like fearless and courage. It feels like the result after I'm brave, or yeah. So anyway, being brave. Yeah, I'm nervous about this year. A lot of people are. I'm nervous about AI. I think it's really great, and I think it's really challenging, and I think it is pushing us in many ways and making us question things. I'm also excited, and I really feel what I'm creating is something that is going to help a lot of people, myself included. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know how I started talking about vision boards there. Let me just get back to my notes here. Yeah, so I was talking about alignment. So, yeah, for me, alignment often begins with that discomfort and feeling it anyways and going through it, and telling the truth. And for years, I have felt that I couldn't tell the truth. I have felt that I had been silenced in how I felt and how I wanted to operate, and the things that I liked and the things that I believed in. And I just don't want to do that anymore. So the the bravery is something I want to and need to lean on, because I know deep down in my heart, and I can see it. I can almost see these things coming to fruition, and then my mind gets in the way, or people question me about things, or the doubts come up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I can see it and I can feel it and I can taste it. So really realigning back to my vision board and grounding in that. And yeah, so okay, let me move on. um yeah, so I'd like to reframe what alignment actually is. So alignment to me does not equate to waiting or avoiding action or being lazy or waiting for things to happen. Alignment actually means, to me, listening, being honest, waiting for the right emotional timing if it feels calm and safe in my body. And if I'm, in human design, I'm the emotional authority. So allowing things to go through the emotional wave. And when I feel neutral about something, knowing that that's the way and that's the truth for me. So what I've been noticing is that women are craving the permission to slow down. We're craving the permission to take time away, to be allowed to take time off as a mother and to be okay with that, to spend those early years at home with kids. That's such a beautiful possibility. I'm noticing that high functioning women are mistaking exhaustion for lack of ambition. Um, you know, people are questioning right now if what they're doing is the right thing. People are questioning growth and scale. And a lot of women that I talk to, they don't know what their options are in terms of funding, in terms of grants, in terms of hiring, in terms of opportunity, in terms of being in the right room. They are thinking on a bit of a smaller scale, and they're not necessarily shown the way. So I'm really excited to be able to walk with women and show them the way and show them possibilities and show them what's available. Um, yeah, that just feels so good and so aligned for me. So that's going to be part of what my accelerator is. Um, and yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, it just feels like the right thing for me. I think the other thing I'm hearing from a lot of women is alignment keeps coming up because those old models just aren't working anymore. Um, Working and continuously pushing and building until burnout. Or I hear a lot of women are going through perimenopause or all this ADHD stuff coming up. And my theory, I mean, definitely a lot of that is true, but my theory is also that there's so much overwhelm and there's so much burnout and there is so much exhaustion that our bodies just aren't able to handle those stress responses anymore. And so they're breaking down and we're having to create new systems. I mean, the wellness industry is definitely having a time because they're going to see a lot more people coming to them for healing, for getting away. I see a lot of people craving to go on retreats and recenter. There's a group that I'm part of, an Instagram group called the Offline Club, and they just go away for like weekends and they don't bring any devices and they're completely offline and they play games and they read books and they literally just like chill out. Um, I feel like as we get more and more and more into the world of AI, people also more and more and more crave human connection. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that when the pendulum swings one way, it also has to come back and swing the other way. So it's no surprise to me that a lot of people are actually going into more analog these days as well. So, for example, I know people that are getting a home phone and that are buying a point and shoot digital camera because they don't always want their phone. They don't always want to be attached to their phone. Um, they're going more analog in the fact of getting together in person and hanging out and doing board game nights and doing other things in a physical plane instead of just the online digital world. So I think there's really something to be said for the rise of the analog. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that in 2026. Um, there's definitely psychological benefits like coming away from always being sucked into the computer. A lot more people are buying vinyl and records and physical books and film cameras. A lot of people are wanting to shoot on film now. So getting in touch with something physical. This also feeds the need for craving intentionality. So when we have only 24 shots on a film, we're being more precise with how we take photos. Um, there's not the unlimited supply that a digital camera affords. And so there's something sweet about that. A couple of years ago, I got a Polaroid for my birthday and we brought it to Christmas. And there's just something about printing those photos because you only have 10 photos to print. You can take a whole bunch, but you have to choose the 10 you want to print. And there's just something about that makes it so much more special. And then you have the little photo and you stick it on your fridge and that kind of thing. And having that versus just having all of these millions of photos in my phone, There's something sweet about that. And there's just something about nostalgia. Like when nostalgia is triggered in our brain, it floods us with good memories and emotional safety and comfort and security and remembering easier times. And it like lights up dopamine reward circuits. Um, yeah, and just feeds us with those feel good chemicals that give us that sense of belonging and that sense of nourishment. And this is why people also love traditions and Christmas and holidays. It's not necessarily just what's right in front of us. It's, 40 years of Christmases before that we reminisce about and that we feel really good about and we feel connected to ourselves and to our family and our friends and people that were in our lives. And it just reminds us of who we are. And so I think the rise of analog also is bringing that back. And that's why people are really flocking to that. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that in 2026. I know that we have been in a time of disruption and evolution and technology and AI and change. Um, and of course, the pandemic slowed a lot of things down. It sped a lot of other things up. But I feel like alignment also feels disruptive before it can feel peaceful. And so, if we've always been doing things the way that we've been doing things, and now we're being called to rewire that and come back into alignment and rewire that brain circuitry, it can feel scary and intimidating and uncertain because the way that we've been doing it has become the way that we are comfortable. And so, discomfort, like the only way through discomfort is through, but also it's quieting the noise so you can hear the truth within yourself. And this is what I want to talk a lot about in my accelerator and in the groups that I'm working with is how do we actually just show up and be ourselves? I saw this I saw someone post this yesterday, which was January 1st, and it said every year we make New Year's resolutions to be somebody else. How about this year you make the New Year's resolution to be yourself? And I was just like, wow, that isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? The resolution should be to be my actual self. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing this year. That's the plan. That's what I'm leaning into is alignment. On the flip side of that, misalignment, oh my God, it costs us so much. It costs us time, energy, money, stress, emotional issues, trauma, recounting things. It costs us self-trust, self-love as well. Yeah, the further I got from myself, the less I was trusting myself and the more confused I felt. And the more I felt that I needed to do everything for everyone else because if I did take up space, oh my gosh, like I don't even know if I knew how to. Man, this is actually quite vulnerable. So thanks for being here and listening. Yeah, it's not easy for me to say these things. It's not easy for me to share these things. It's the truth, and yeah, it also hurts. And yeah, that's why I'm not doing that anymore. So I'd like to share a story about a time in my life where alignment was very uncomfortable and the scariest thing I have ever done, but also leaning into trusting myself changed everything. So in 2016, I was living abroad, and long story short, my current marriage had ended, and I didn't know where to go, didn't know where to live, didn't know what to do. So I actually went to Ontario, where I'm from, for a month. to stay with my sister. And then in the May of 2016, I was going to come out to Vancouver and stay with my brother here for a month. And so I stayed with my sister. My sister had just had a baby. And so that was great to be there and just spend some time and some alone time, working on getting over this divorce. And so then in the May, I ended up coming to Vancouver and I thought, okay, I'll just be there for a month. And then I actually had a job offer somewhere in Europe and I was going to go there, take the job offer and move back to Europe. And but I also had told myself, like, I'm just going to be open and free and I'm just going to say yes and just see what comes up and see what happens. So, anyways, I tell my brother, hey, I'm coming there for a month of May. Can I stay with you guys? And he goes, perfect. I'm going to Brazil that month. You can stay at my place. And I was like, okay, well, I literally know like one person and my brother. So I was like, okay, like I'm just going to come. So anyway, I come, he's in Brazil. So I literally know one person here, an old friend, and didn't hang out with her too much, a few times, but I decided to just start saying yes to everything. And so I had nothing to lose. And so I would meet people, I would say yes, I would go to parties. That was such a fun summer. I ended up going on crazy boat trips and I met the coolest people and I would go to parties and I would meet 50 awesome people on a rooftop at a DJ party. And all of those people ended up becoming my friends. This is almost 10 years ago now. And so obviously I never left. That 1 month turned into 10 years now. And I just kept saying yes with what felt in alignment for myself. And I felt a lot of freedom and I felt really excited and really good about things, and things were just opening up and coming my way. I reignited my digital marketing agency. I brought on a business partner. Things were going well. Then I started a tech company. Then I met an awesome guy. Like, just so many things just started lining up when I was in my own flow and saying yes to things. But it was very uncomfortable leaving where I was living in the UK and going through that divorce. And I had a little bit of money, so I didn't have to take a job right away, but that didn't last very long. But I needed to heal. And that summer of 2016, I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to work, I'm just going to heal and have fun and meet people. That was the whole goal, meet community. And I did. I met incredible people. I ended up restarting my agency back up in the fall. And so I started working again in the fall. And I had already created an entire beautiful network of people. I went to a ton of events, met really cool people, lived in cool apartments, lived in every neighborhood in the city, and joined different sports teams and just everything, just a full, rich life. So, in saying all of that, I feel that 2016 was a 9 year. So I moved here in a 9 year, which was the end of that 9 year cycle. And interestingly, this past year, 2025, was also a 9 year. And I was really starting to feel that push again to like do the next thing, and that things were wrapping up, and to lean into what was next for myself, for my alignment, for my heart, for my growth, for my trajectory, for my family, and for what I want from my future and my legacy. So, anyways, saying all of that, it was definitely the most challenging thing this year. Um, with everything that's been going on, with a lot of pressure, with my partner's health concerns. If you didn't listen to any other episodes, he had a major surgery. He ended up getting a liver transplant in August, and that he was sick for a few months before that, and that completely derailed a lot of things. Still recovering from that, him and I was the caregiver and had to basically rethink everything. So it was a forced pause. And I gained a lot of perspective from that. That was definitely, the hardest thing I've ever been through, definitely in my life. And when you're faced with mortality, in this case, it was my loved one, my best friend, my boyfriend, and my partner. And, that affects my life too, a lot, of course. And so I'm going into 2026, the 1 year, full of hope, faith, and realizing that alignment is truly the only way. It just is. and and yeah, my resolution is to be myself. My New Year's resolution is to be myself. Being in that level of survival mode really disconnected me from things that I want and things that I'm going for and my desires. It put the perspective in of like, what am I actually doing? What am I actually doing with my days? What am I actually doing with my time and my intelligence and my energy? And how am I earning money? And how am I creating legacy? And how am I creating an impact? And all those kind of things. And it's really allowed me to see what I want and go for it. So, really, alignment is beginning by letting me desire things again. And that's why this vision board this year felt different, because it just felt like all achievable. And so the goal is to stick to the plan, be brave, lean into alignment. New Year's resolution is to be myself. And yeah, these shifts, I'm just stoked to get out of survival mode and lean into sovereignty. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm so ready. Every woman I talk to is so ready. They're so tired of having it all together. That's the new burnout. Of having to like pretend that everything's great when it isn't. They're tired of being the one who's always capable and who always takes everything on for everybody else. I mean, I'm the same. I'm so tired of that. So what I'm leaning into is empowering others, being their cheerleader and reflecting back to them what is already inside, but I can't do it for them, right? They often say that the best psychologist is a brick wall, because really, if you just talk things out loud, you can come to your own solutions and conclusions. It's just getting those thoughts, feelings, and emotions out. So I want to turn it over to you. And if you'd like to share, I would love to ask, how are you getting into alignment? How are you getting into alignment for 2026? What are you calling in? And I'm choosing alignment over urgency, and I'm choosing sticking to the plan over being distracted by everything. I'm choosing following my path versus feeling like I'm always behind. I'm choosing to look at social media less, compare myself less to other people. I'm choosing to quiet the voices in my mind and lean into what's guiding me in my heart and how I feel. And I'm choosing less noise and more community with other like-minded women who are also in the same boat, who are just going for it. And yeah, so that's what I'm bringing into for 2026. And I hope this podcast made a little bit of sense. I feel like I was a little bit all over the place, but that's also just the way that my mind works. And I hope you got something out of it. And I would love to hear from you if that makes sense. And yeah, stay tuned, because I'm going to continue talking. And my goal is to launch one episode per week. God help me if that feels like a lot, because it kind of does. But, it feels also aligned and good and not forced, and it feels exciting. And I think that's it for now. So thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Laura Forte with Off Topic on Purpose, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for listening.